And you know I used to drink too much, take a ride in my car. We're gonna get real. Oh, I'm feeling good, my little lady. She's gonna take me to the other side. I'm feeling nice, my little lady. She's gonna keep me moving on. I'm gonna run till I drop to the break of dawn. Never gonna stop, she's gonna treat me right. I'm feeling good, my little lady. She's gonna take me to the other side. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and you can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and we're gonna get real. Come on, baby. Let's take a ride. I don't know where we're gonna go, but first, let's dance. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and you can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car, and we're gonna get real. Oh.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is we hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while, come check us out at astroworldweb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Deborah, things are becoming intense. I ripped my jeans on your fence, hiding away from your man. Oh, it's a passion. Oh, tell a tale of 1,000 lonely days. Yeah, she's a real thing. Yeah, only I can make a change if you want to be together. blame. Yeah, it's a small town. Yeah, all the people turn and stare. Oh, it's a secret. Hey, let them see me. I don't care if you want to be together. It's so good to be together with you. If you want to be together. If you want to be together, it's so good to be together with you. If you want to be together, say you want to be together. I'm feeling really guilty, but it feels so bad. Yeah, so good to be together. Yeah, we did it before, and we can do it again. I'm tearing out my hair, 'cause I don't know when so good. You want to be together. Yeah. It's so good to be together. Yeah, so damn good. If you want to be together, it's so good, it's so good, yeah. What the hell's wrong with my telescope now? Yeah, what's wrong with this thing?
You're the lost Lone Ranger. Can I break this spell? You want things right, who I make you do things wrong. If I want that fine line, who I will always take you on. If I just do left, watch you leave from the right. I sleep all day long, then I'm dreaming through the night.
I wonder what it was that made me want you. She couldn't understand what made me hard. She's climbing in and out my open window. I'm laying here alone and cold and drained. Yeah. So take another breath and come up for your oxygen. And now you wanna kiss the flesh and blood of every man, every man. And when the moon is full and the wolves were held, she swam across the lake just to get to my house. Yes. And she said, I want more, give me more this looks upon a world that's dark and tangled. I never saw her turn her head and shame. She's coming down the open window. I'm lying here alone, cold and gray. So take another breath and come up for your oxygen. Hey, you know you wanna kiss the flesh and blood of every man, every man. Well, we all took turns and you swallowed the world. I never realized till you sat with us, man. And she said, I want more. Give me more disgusting stuff. A little bit of disgusting stuff. Disgusting stuff. Oh, you're making me stop. Well, we all took turns and you swallowed the world. I never realized till you sat with us, man. She said, I want more. Give me more disgusting stuff. A little bit of disgusting stuff. Give me more disgusting stuff. Yeah, a little bit of disgusting stuff.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is we hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at AstroWorldWeb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to AstroWorldWeb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. throwing my telescope now. Get wrong with this thing.
The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell? Do one thing right, do I make you do things wrong? If I want that fine line, I'll always take the fall. If I don't do them, I can live from the right. I sleep all day long, and I'm breathing through the night.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are back. Yeah, we're going back. We're going old school. We're going with wrong names already and everything. What the hell is going on?
Oh my lord!
Well, it is what I. You know what? I didn't know who was coming tonight, and I just got in from work, and you just got in from work. So let me just get off to Steve. You're not Steve. There you go. How's it going, everybody? What's going on? We're here again on another Friday night, and tonight we're gonna do a little bit. I'm gonna do something that I haven't done in a while, and I did a presentation about a year ago about filters, I figured since this is supposed to be Q&A, and we're gonna be starting all over again, so may as well start talking about some filters, and we'll go back and forth about that, about different types of filters, narrow band, broadband, dual band, all that kind of stuff. So. But before we get to brass tacks here, let's do what we didn't do on Wednesday night, and we'll do the sponsors. I about 6 months ago, I revamped the perk structure in Patreon and YouTube to make them both the same because they were different at one point. And I did it all, and I updated everything. So it's pretty weird how we went down to no Red Giant members and a whole bunch of main sequence members. So it was kind of weird, but it was because of the changing of the structure and the the donation amount and all that kind of stuff. So when you see the picture, you'll see what we need. We have 2 Red Giant and about 30 main sequence members. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. So for again, we do give out a lot of gifts and we do give out a lot of giveaways, and we couldn't do this at all without any of our corporate sponsors. First one at the main sequence level is Woodland Hills Camera and Telescopes. They give us money and gift certificates to give away to everybody. We do $50 a month giveaway for them, and then we do 2 big ones at the end of the year. So whatever's left over, we split it up. We do 2 big ones. So that's pretty cool. So you're able to get some of your gear and your toys over at Woodland Hills. Followed by our Red Giant level man, Prima Luce Lab and Camera Concepts and Optolong. So Prima Luce gave us a Eagle 4 Pro in the summer last year. We gave it away. It was pretty awesome. Camera Concepts, same deal as Woodland Hills, that they give us cash every month to give away to everybody. And Optolong, who's been giving us slews and slews of filters to give away. We gave away 2 sets of SHO 3nm sets last year, and we're planning on giving away more, just waiting for them to get their stuff together from the Lunar New Year. So hopefully they'll be back on track with us for 2023. We also have Masters of Pixinsight. I'm 8 minutes late. Sorry, Gideon. Masters of Pixinsight 9P for AP. We're giving away another Masters of Pixinsight workshop again tonight. Their next one is, I believe, Masks Unmasked, and that's going to be late March next month. So definitely take a look at that. And if you don't know what IP for AP is, go check that as well. Really good tutorials for both Pixinsight and Photoshop. So go check it out. So here's the new tiles for, and you know what, I'll switch this because I know Eric can't see anything right now unless he's watching YouTube. So I'll change this to output so you don't have to crink your neck, Eric. So
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Just tell me that because I always forget to do this. But just say, Dan, you screwed up again. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's all good. It's all
good. No, we're not. No, I'm not. I don't plan on once I get 5 off the rails members, I'll have a higher thing. But I don't plan on going any higher than $50 a month. I mean, that's pretty sick to me. I don't know, but you get automatic perks at some of these levels with Patreon. They just automatically send it to you. I picked what they send them. I put the logo on, and they send it out to you. I do nothing. And they just pay, they charge me for it on the Patreon account. So it's pretty cool. So Sean Nielsen and Bob, Off the Rails members, John G and Dr. Ascari at the Quasar level. Thank you so much. Black Hole members, these 3 stayed the same. Then look, all of a sudden the Red Giant members got nothing. I don't know what happened, but it went from a full screen to I had to switch the screen on the main sequence member. And that's a new member right there, Deborah Columns. So thank you, Deborah, for joining us at the Red Giant level.
You have to switch your font and make it a little smaller so you can fit everybody on that one slide.
Well, I fit everybody on this slide. This is now the main sequence members. And the reason why Chris Frierickson is in red and 2 Patreon stickers, because he has 2 Patreon memberships and a YouTube membership. So
thank you, Chris. That's awesome.
I spoke to Chris today. I said, you know what? Why don't you just go to the Quasar level and just convert them all, and then you get some decent perks. So let's see.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, feel free to see us at Patreon under AstroWorld TV. And then we got a lot more White Dwarf members now. So things are kind of shifting a little bit. And that's something that's been done for a while. But the only other member level that's not on, this is the last one on Patreon, but there's one lower than this at, I believe it's $2.99 a month. And that is the Protostar members. And Reach for the Stars joined as a Protostar member. So thank you to Carlos.
Oh, very nice. Carlos.
Thank you for Carlos. And Carlos, if you're watching, I still have, well, you can't see it, but I still have the Revolution Imager for you that I have. I was waiting for for YouTube to pay me. More news on that. The paycheck came in, so you'll be getting the donations quite soon. So,
Nice.
if you haven't seen it, last week Steve Malia was here from Starfield. Not last week, last Wednesday, 2 days ago.
Yeah, Wednesday.
He had a great show talking all about his telescopes, his website, what's in the future for Starfield. Semi newcomer to the optics, but been around a while. But he's been getting some great results from his optics. So I mean, definitely take a look at it.
He owns Ontario, doesn't he?
There was some, it was very elusive about that. There was, I don't want to say that for definite. I know that there was a relationship there. I don't know if there still is a relationship there. I think there is, but I don't know for a fact, to be honest with you. So I'm sure somebody in the peanut gallery knows. So Wednesday, February 15th. We're gonna have Richard Wright live from Winter Star Party, hopefully, and that's always depending on if his Wi-Fi and his hotspot works well. So we're gonna give that a shot. He's gonna be running around Winter Star Party. February 22nd, Bob Denny gonna talk about Ascom Alpaca and the new stuff going on. Yes, Gideon, so Stephen is Ontario Scopes. Sorry. So that's thank you, Gideon, for the he spoke about the podcast with Trevor as well. So thank you. And March 1st, we have the return of Ivo Stoyanov on APT. He's going to be talking about the new stuff that he put into that. April 5th, we have Warren Keller coming on. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be his first time here. And then, of course, when you're hanging out, when you're doing nothing, please feel free to join us on our Discord, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, whatever else we're on, we're there. And yes, we are on Mastodon. I just got to get more active on that. So that being said, we are back and I didn't change the name yet because I haven't done that yet. I'll do that right now while let's see.
Yeah, I'm not Steve.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it. Yeah, well, that's when I was. We don't usually use it.
But you know what Steve would like you to do is same thing I want you to do is do me a favor and go ahead and smash that like button if you're on Facebook. Give us a big thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Share the show. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, share to public, share to your feeds, to your friends' feeds, so everybody knows that AstroWorld is, on the air right now, and that we're live, and we're doing some great stuff here, and that we're going to be at NEAF in April. Can't wait for that, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and that we would definitely like their support, and if you like what we're doing, like I say, share the show, and help us out, so we can get the word out to everyone who's in the astrophotography community and in the astronomy community, so they can join us and have a blast along with you all. And like I said earlier, a while back, this is like my astronomy club. So I love hanging out here. I love interacting with everybody. So let's keep this club growing and, getting bigger and better, and, do what we need to do to take it to the next level. And now the only way we can do that is by you guys helping us out, doing your part in sharing the show and getting the word out there. So we would really appreciate that.
Yeah. So just so you know, right now at this moment in time, I think I'm right. So we're at 47 member contributors with either YouTube or Patreon when you add it together. So thank you everybody for the support. Yes. It's super helpful. It helps the show. When we get 100, people doing this kind of thing, we could do more of it. You know what I mean? We could do more of it. We could maybe take a personal day off work and not worry about it. But you know what I mean? But it really helps the show. It helps us do stuff like NEAF. It helps us do stuff like giveaways. And don't forget, NEAF is coming, just like Eric said, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Just so you know, if I have any left by the time NEAF The next shipment came in. I think I have 7 or 8 left. Yeah.
Dude, where's mine?
What's
Dude,
that?
where's mine? Where's mine?
You didn't buy one.
Oh, that's right. You know what? You gotta buy it. You can't get it for free. You gotta buy it. Even me, I gotta do it too. Nope, I gotta do it too. So you gotta go on astroworldweb.com, go and go to our store, check out our merch, sign up, get a calendar, do all of that stuff. I want to see folks coming around on NEAF, I don't care. Have a cap on, holding up a, bring over your calendar, your stickers, we can do a quick, autograph and whatever else, we can do all that. Let's just have some fun. But yeah,
I'll tell you something. My mother-in-law even paid for one. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's only fair.
I don't even own one yet. And I need it.
You know why? Because you haven't paid for it.
I didn't pay for it yet. I know. That's what it is. You know what? And I got to charge myself for shipping too.
That's it.
But I want to say a thank you to Josh Kovat. He pointed me in a direction a while ago on shipping about a USPS media mail, it's called. And originally they said that it wasn't, calendars were not eligible for media mail shipping. I'm going to try it. So there's 2 people out there that are going to get it, Mark and Dave. Yours are going out with media mail. If you don't get it, let me know, because I sent it out and it'll be out tomorrow. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Grab a calendar and just support the channel. So what do we got in the chat? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, these glasses are not new, just so you know. My eyes, as I got older, my eyes have gotten more and more out of whack, and I'm trying to wear them every day now, so I don't go to work and say, God damn it, I forgot my glasses again. And so I'm trying to wear them every day. Oh, it's horrible, especially when you're in IT. It's the worst. You try and read something. You're like this.
Yep.
What does that say? That little number that you got to read that's right there that you need to know. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And there's only so much time where you can sit there and take a picture and zoom in on it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, and just so you know, Bob, I'm not saying where I'm staying on the show because I don't want you to see me. So I don't want it. I'm just playing. Anyway.
Oh God, you're terrible, man.
I'm a horrible person. Horrible. All right. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about filters, and what I'm going to do this a little bit differently than last time, Eric. I don't want it to be just like a dissertation, like a PowerPoint, like last time. Even though I'm going to run the PowerPoint, I'm going to do the PowerPoint for a little bit, and then let's open it up for discussion, and then do a little bit of PowerPoint and open it up for because I think sometimes when especially when I talk, because I'm like kind of, I'm boring to listen to. So, so if we could break,
you're not boring to listen to.
Don't patronize me. Oh, geez. So, we'll start it off with what the hell? Titan just went crazy.
Damn, dogs. I got to get soundproofing up in this.
I know that what's his name? I got to go back to the all because I know that Peter's going to be coming on, but he is running a little bit late. So I do like to go off the rails. You know what? It makes it. You never know what's going to come. And I like that, So I think we all like that, even though Eric puts his hand in his face when it happens, and it's like Eric's the straight man, and I'm the off the rails man. So even though that's not all the time true, but
it's not. Yeah, it's not.
That's not all. We all go off the rails. But anyway, so I'm gonna pop this up real quick, and some of you may recognize it because it is the same. The same filter presentation that I gave about a year ago. But I think it'd be good because it is a beginner's Q&A and we could talk about it. I'll go through a couple of slides and then we'll stop. We'll open it up for discussion before the next topic and the filters come in. So let's see, F5. No, I don't want to do F5 because I got two screens. Let's see, show from beginning. There we go. And I don't want this. I don't want that. There we go. Okay.
David, what do you mean? What do you mean I go off the rails? I don't go off the rails.
Well,
I stay on the rails. I stay away from that third rail.
You stay away from the third, but you walk on the top. All right, so filters. Why? What kind of filters are there, and what types are there, and why do we actually use filters? Because you know what, not for nothing, in the couple of years that I've been doing this show, I've learned a lot about filters, and I've been called out a couple times, and I'm sure I'll be called out tonight. But let's see where it goes. So filters. Here we go. So filters we use for astronomy, visual, and astrophotography, and they could be used to suppress the unwanted light that we don't want, add color, improve viewing quality, or restrict to certain bands of the spectrum. There are a couple of different types of filters. These are a couple of the main ones. There are different types. There are photometric filters. There are other types of filters, but there's broadband, narrowband, solar. And then there's visual O3. There's a couple other ones, but those are the main ones that we got. So our view in the night sky depends primarily, and Dave, don't go off the rails here because I know you will. I see you're in the chat. So primarily on three things is our telescope's aperture, contrast, sharpness, and I'm going to add seeing and transparency in there because those are really two more that can kind of really screw up your night. Contrast and sharpness is great, but the seeing and transparency in the sky are really super important. Filters can play a big role in boosting contrast and sharpness, and also help us with some visual imperfections when we're doing visual astronomy. So, like when you have a visual O3 filter, you're looking at that M17, so the Omega or the Swan Nebula. And you're like, I see it, but I don't really see it. You pop it in an O3 visual filter, and bam, it contrasts the background, and all of a sudden you see this nice white swan that's probably upside down, but it's a swan, and it's pretty cool. They also play a role dealing with seeing the effects of light that is scattered across the atmosphere. So here's a picture of the color spectrum. Violet, blue, cyan, green, yellow, orange, red. For those of you that are monochrome shooters, you'll recognize the red, the blue, and the green. Red from 740 to 625 nanometers, green from 565 to 520, and blue 500 to 430. So when you have that nice little RGB separate filters, those are the wavelengths that you're letting through, or it's blocking everything but that wavelength is more of a correct statement. So if Pete was here, and I wish he was because he would yell at me right now, because it's not block or allow, even though that you take a look at these graphs here, and I use the Optolong, just the light pollution filter that they had. And so where it dips down here is what it blocks. And then it lets in all of this, and then it dips here, and then it lets in that, and it dips here. So, but what it's doing, it's not letting through. It's going to let through everything if it didn't have the coatings it had, right? What it is it's blocking certain things. It's blocking certain nanometers of light from getting through to get the light pollution filter. I believe this is sodium, hydrogen, mercury, all those for the light pollution. Here's sodium over here, calcium, hydrogen, H beta, O3, O2, all the lines are right there. So, and before we go into the Bortle dark sky scale, Let's go back to the 2-up. And so, filters, right, Eric?
Yeah. I got lots of them.
You got lots of them. I got lots of them.
I got lots of them. I got all kinds of filters. You know, and it doesn't matter. You know, you got filters for monochrome. I got filters for all my monochrome. You know, because you need those filters for that, so you can have, you know, your primary colors and your luminance and your narrow bands. I've got, you know, for my one-shot colors, I've got filters that, you know, help block the ultraviolet, you know, and cut the infrared and everything like that. So I've got duo band and tri band. I've even got quad band.
Do you have quin band?
Not yet. Not yet. That'll be an expensive filter.
Let's see. So a quin band would be, let's see, I would say H beta, H alpha, O3, S2.
Yep. What else are you thinking?
NIR?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe IR. Yeah.
Calcium, maybe.
Or calcium. Yeah. Or maybe calcium for sure. Or nitrogen.
Nitrogen? Okay, I don't know how much nitrogen is in this guy, but
because I know aren't there nitrogen filters?
There are. Yeah, the photometric.
Yeah. So, you know, it just depends. And
sodium too.
Yeah, sodium for sure. You know, you definitely, because, you know, you've got so many of the street lights and everything. So light pollution filters, they block out that, you know, the sodium and everything,
the mercury,
and the mercury. So absolutely.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because you know, the light.
You know what's even better than what I'm saying? You know what's even better than a filter?
A dust cap.
Close. A BB gun.
Whoa! All right, off the rail segment here. Let me tell you something. I've done that. I've done that from my second floor window, and little did I know that pointing a BB gun out of a second-story window into the street is a felony.
Yes,
I did not know that until the cops came knocking on my door. Yeah, well, you know. It is what it is. But where were we talking about though? It's
So
you were saying something about so light pollution filters, right?
Yeah, so LP filters, yeah.
So LP filters now, you know, a lot of the light pollution filters out there, if you're like me and don't have normal either sodium or mercury, hydrogen lights, then you got LEDs all over the place.
LED, yeah.
You know,
that makes
there are filters. Thank God there are filters now that knock out a lot of the LED spectrum.
Yeah, but it was difficult, man. And this is one of the things you really try to push. We always try to talk, and we hear from people who are really advocates against, you know, fighting against light pollution and trying to encourage their municipalities to encourage their neighbors, and they even do it themselves, to point their lights down, get shades that point downward instead of, you know, just blowing up everywhere, you know, unnecessarily. So yeah, I mean, whatever you can do there. But filters, there's been such an influx of filters. I mean, you look at what IDOS has come out with.
Yep.
They've got the GNB now. I mean, so that's the Galaxy and Nebula booster filter.
And
I mean,
Optolong is starting to push the Ultimate again.
So
that's coming out again. And the the IDAS, the new one for the LEDs, and I forget which one it is. It's the D3? I think it is.
I think it is the D3.
I think it's the D3.
Yes, I think it is the D3.
And that's the one that I use now near my house, and I see a little bit of a difference there. So I mean, you know, I use that now specifically. So yeah, I think it's the D3.
Yeah, the light pollution suppression D3. Yep.
Yeah, the LPS D3. Yep. So hey, that's really cool. And again, remember what they're doing is they're not allowing certain light through. They're blocking the unwanted things out when they do the coating. You know what I mean? And the glass is the glass, and it depends on what the coatings are that they use to block the hydrogen, mercury, sodium, whatever else, the LED spectrum. Or if you just want the red, they block everything else out. If you just want the blue, they block everything else out. It's not that they're changing the glass to make the blue go in. They're changing the glass to block everything out. So I think what Pete likes to say is it's the interference. It's an interference filter. So it blocks everything out.
Yes, it's an interference filter. Absolutely.
Yeah, I switched from the L Pro to the D3 as well. I think that the color balance that you get on the D3 is definitely better than the L Pro to me. I see red all the time, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just that the fact that the L Pro sees it too, and
And then I still I'm always going to talk about my favorite, at least for right now. It's still my numero uno, and I'm running it right now. Can't see that? There it is.
Yep, I got one. It's right in my red
the
cap.
NBZ, and it's right now. It's actually running, doing its job right now in my Rasa. I've got the Rasa out there, and I'm doing the Pop Balloon Nebula. Abel 85
CTB1.
So, yes. So I've already done several hours of it, of 300 second exposures now, and I processed those, but I'm not pleased with all of it. So I want more oxygen. So now I'm going for 600. And I'm going to see how we do at 600. And it just got it started. So we will see. We will see how steady everything goes. So
I see red.
Yes.
There you go. But that's
I see a little too much red, and I want to see more blue and green. So we're going to do 60. I'm going for 6,600 second exposures, and that should put me being done at about 5:30ish, 5:45, hopefully just before dawn. We'll see how it all goes.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like it's going to cloud up here probably about midnight. So I've just been doing some testing on my guiding on my EQ8. I'm seeing a little oblongish kind of stars now. I'm seeing. Maybe I'm just being too anal, but I mean it is a little bit oblong there. I got my buddy Dave, who's in the chat, Barnett, who's helped me look through that. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's with the new flattener and the new scope and the new everything. So there's going to be a little bumps in the road. Raisul has got a question. Newbie question. Where do we put the filter on reflector or on ZWO? I guess he's saying on the camera or on the reflector. So
very good question. Now, one quick question is what type of camera and filter do you have? Are you using a 1 1/4 inch filter, or are you using a 2-inch filter? If you can tell me that helps out a huge amount.
Yeah,
and
because each telescope and each camera is going to have a little bit of a different setup. To Eric's point, if you're using 1 1/4, you could actually thread it onto the nose piece of the camera and slide it in there.
Depending on what the camera is.
Depending on what the camera, absolutely. Other times you may need something like a filter slider, or even other times you may be able to thread it inside the focus tube, where you're able to kind of just like the Red Cat, you just turn it in there, and then you put everything. Everything is fine. It's got a M48 adapter in there that fits 2-inch filters. So there are a lot of ways to kind of do that. If you could really, like Eric said, if you could really give us some more information about your setup. I know Rasul, you're a Camera Concepts.
Okay, so this is an 80 milli ED reflector.
Where
Are we saying it's
I don't even see that.
an Eon reflector?
Oh, there it
okay. Eon. Okay, so it's an Eon reflector. Okay, and this is a 385 MC. Oh, so it's a hockey puck.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can thread that
right onto the nose piece.
Right onto the nose piece. If you have it, yeah, you just thread that. You can, because there is the adapter that you can thread that. You have the nose piece adapter, thread it right onto there, and then put that right onto the camera, and then you can slide that into the eyepiece holder, and yeah, and then tighten it in, and you should be good to go.
You sure that's an 80 reflector?
But I was kind of questioning like an 80 millimeter. That seems kind of small.
I think the Eon's 80 is a refractor.
Yes, it's a refractor. If it's talking 80, that's a refractor.
Yeah. I mean,
so reflectors.
I guess
remember, reflectors have mirrors. Reflectors have mirrors. Refractors have just straight glass. They're straight glass. Have glass elements. So there's your difference. If you're not 100%. Is it a mirror?
The 80 is definitely, if it's an ED 80 from Orion, it's definitely a 3-inch refractor. And that being said, you may be able to, I mean, I'd have to do some research on that Eon because I don't know it that well. But you may be able to thread it right on the back inside the focus tube, depending on which filter you have. So you may have a 2-inch filter, and it may have a 2-inch filter, not a slider, but an insert that you can turn it in there. If you don't have anything like that, you may have to get what's called a filter slider, and then put that on the back of your focus tube so you actually pull it out. And I could actually show you. Actually, I have one here. Give me a second.
Yes, I have one right here. This is for my Rasa.
Oh, you got one right there?
This is a filter
slider.
This is a filter slider.
And if you can pull it out,
what I use for my Rasa, and this is a 2-inch filter slider, and you can actually slide out, and then you can mount your mounted 48 millimeter. They have to be the mounted 48 millimeter 2-inch filters. You can use that here, and this is the Star Arizona.
Yep.
And or they also come with an adapter that goes in here into your filter slider ring here, and you can mount a 1 1/4 inch filter in the center of this, and then mount that in there. So you have that.
Yep.
That in it correctly. So this is an example of a filter slider, and I love these because if you need to, you can move. It's very easily, quickly, just taking one out and one filter out, putting another one in.
Yep.
But you just have to be, just be careful and aware that. For me, if I'm going and I'm doing this all over, if I'm using multiple filters in one night, you have to do your calibration frames before you switch filters.
Yep.
If you haven't done it, if you don't have the calibration, your first calibration frame or flat frame done with the initial filter prior to your to starting your imaging, and you're doing everything after the fact, after your imaging session with that filter, do your flats, then switch your filter, and then go on with that next session, and then don't forget to do your flats again.
Yeah, I always like to go into the next step and say, okay, because I know we have Rasul is a newbie, and I know there's some other newbies in there, and say we talk about flats and filters, and why do we want to do flats before we take that filter? It may not be apparent to everybody. It's apparent to a lot of people in the chat and us of why we want to do that, but this is why. When you put the filter in and you take 6 hours of data, let's say, or 3 hours, or even 1 hour, it doesn't matter. This filter that's in here, it's going to have dust on it just from waving around and, just hanging out. Maybe, God forbid you put your fingerprint on it or whatever, that's going to be a little bit hard to get off. But all the dust motes and stuff like that is going to be in there. And you're going to be taking pictures of those dust motes. And you'll see them. When you pull up your raw photos, you're going to see, oh, what's that black spot over there? What's that black spot over there? Mm-hmm. And to Eric's point, the reason why you want to take what something called flats are, now flats will take a picture of not only the vignetting you have because of the filter, but it will also take a picture of all of the dust motes that are there.
Yes.
And through pre-processing, you could actually take that data and minus it out from your lights. It's actually a division,
Correct.
If I remember right. It's not a subtraction. It's actually a division.
It's the division,
if I remember right. But that being said, and then when you're done with your flats, then take it out, new filter in, 3 more hours of data, and then more flats with the new filter, because your dust is going to change from filter to filter.
Dust is going to change with every filter. Dust, little thumbprints or fingerprints you may have by mistake, whatever imperfections are on that filter, they will get picked up, when you are going to process. So you have to do these calibration frames, and you must take them before you switch out these filters.
Absolutely. And you know what? Do yourself a favor, just a best bet here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a long-term thing and you're using a filter slider, okay, and you're going to be switching your filters manually, and you're going to be switching your filter, whether you're doing H alpha and 03, you don't have an MBZ, so you're doing H alpha, or maybe you're doing, God forbid, you're doing RGB with the filter slider. But that's going to be a big pain. But if you are, do yourself a favor. Complete the whole channel first.
Yes.
Don't try and do 3 different channels in a night if you're doing this. So 1 night or 2 nights, I do red. I take my flats. I don't move this. I don't take the filter out. I don't do anything. And the next night I do red. I do the second night. Now when I'm done with the flats for the second night, take it out, put my green in. Boom. Take 2 nights of green. Do the flats.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So just a best bet to do that instead of just going back and forth like that. I see so many people making that kind of mistake that, they don't do flats when they should, or they don't do. I mean, for a long time, I didn't do flats at all. I'm like, I don't need flats. I'll just crop it out. I'm happy with this. Is a beautiful picture. I don't care.
You can't crop it. You can't crop these out.
You can't crop out dust motes. I mean, you can crop out vignetting, but you can't crop out dust motes. And let me tell you, once I started doing flats on my pictures, I was like, I am a friggin' idiot, because I should have been doing this, and I should have. And it's not like I thought I knew better than everybody, and obviously I didn't. Sometimes I'm a little bit of an idiot, but just listen to people that know more than you do, and don't be afraid to say that you know less, because I say I know less every day. So,
yeah, I mean. Yeah, exactly. I am a RASA owner, so, a RASA 8 owner. So if I have to use, swap out filters when I'm doing certain projects, even with my, one-shot color cameras. So like, for perfect example, what I'm doing right now, I'm using my NBZ to grab all of the nebulosity, all of, everything for the Pop Balloon Nebula. I'm getting all of my H alpha in 03. And trust me, once that is done, I've already taken my flats because I've gone from 300 now to 600. So I did that earlier. But as soon as I'm done with the NBZ and I switch over to, say, my Moon and Sky Glow, or my, my light suppression filter, then I'm going to, as soon as that's concluded, then I will do my flats again. I'll do my calibration frames again, and then that way I can have my RGB stars and things like that. So yeah, it's it can, and it can be tedious. It can be, a PETA, but it's just the nature of the beast when you're using this type of equipment and you have the scopes and things that require that, which is one reason why I really enjoy having filter wheels.
Yep.
Because if everything is enclosed and
Yep.
you don't move around your image train, and you're not taking things apart, then you're limiting that dust and risk, the dust and everything is enclosed now. So you're limiting the amount of dust that is going to get in. So sometimes with that, you can actually maybe consider creating a library of flats.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
You
Actually, you got a
something.
question about the Rasa, and I do too, because I have the same question about the Rasa and flats.
Yeah.
I mean, is it difficult for because you are at F2? How does it make a difference? Are you just taking lower second flats or dimming the panel?
It's basically like you're doing. Doesn't matter. It's just like if you're doing flats with a standard, say f5, 5.9 refractor or anything like that. The difference is with a Hyperstar or a Rasa, because your camera is in the front, it's on top of the, where your secondary mirror would usually be, is that you would need to get some sort of a rigid dew shield. I have an aluminum dew shield that I would put on top of that and then I would then put on my flat panel on top of that dew shield, and then making sure, and I have a one of the older Spica flats, so it can cover that 8-inch Rasa quite easily. And then I go ahead and I would take my flats, and with the ASI Air Pro, I can simply dim down my flat panel a little bit, but the ASI Air will do an automatic flat. It has an automatic flat wizard, and it will calculate and take the proper ADU in flats, which is usually right there between 26,000 and maybe 30,000, somewhere in the middle of that histogram, and it'll calculate that out and it'll take the photos. So I usually am doing 2-second flats on with the Rasa. So yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, so let's get back to the
let's go.
Let's get back and let's see if I can get this back up, because then we're going to talk about Bortle scale and what kind of so Bortle scale, and then we're going to get into the broadband filters. So let's see. And Bortle scale from current slide there. So everybody says, oh, what kind of B sky you got? What B are you? B plus. So Eric, I believe you're like right in the middle of the group. You're like in the 5 area, right?
I'm like between that 5, 6.
So
yes.
If you take a look at the white screen around the picture, that's me. And if you look at Cherry Springs, let's say, they're in like a.
Can you drop our names from here?
What's that?
You got our names. You still got our name tag showing up in the middle of the PowerPoint, just FYI.
Okay, thank you. And I'll get that off there. Which one is it? Is it that one? And now
there you go.
Get rid of both of them. All right.
It makes it a little bit easier to see.
There you go. Sorry about that. Thanks. So yeah, so Cherry Springs right now is a Bortle 2 to 3 area. So when you go to Cherry Springs and hang out there for Cherry Springs Star Party, it's a Bortle 2. Nebraska Star Party that I'm going to be going to in July is in a deep 2, like a low 2. So, all it is a measurement of the light in your sky. And that's it, the light pollution in your sky. That's all it is. The higher the number, the higher the number, the worse it's going to be. So as you can see, 8, 9, according to that picture, I'm really a 7. I could see some stars. 8, you can't see any. But that's not. I'm an 8+, and I still see the brightest stars. I see, I see all of Orion. So it's not that you don't see anything like that. I think that's a little bit misleading, to be honest with you. But it gives you a good idea of where the scale goes. And
I remember, me living in Chicago, I would definitely consider myself being in a 9 when I lived in, on the south side of Chicago, because all I could really see were the planets and the moon. I really couldn't see any, even not even some of the brightest stars. I couldn't even see them. I mean, it was
from Manhattan, you could only see the planets and the moon.
Yeah.
From Manhattan, and that's probably a legit 8-9. So, but even though that when you go under the either the clear dark sky or clear outside, it says that my GPS position is a Bortle 8. So,
yeah.
So now, what kind of filters do we got? Let's talk about broadband filters. So, Eric, what's a broadband filter, Eric?
A broadband filter is what you would consider filters that capture a broad spectrum of light. Okay? That is what, because you have that light spectrum, a broad spectrum.
Broad spectrum,
of light.
Exactly. So broadband filters, just like exactly what Eric says, is certain filters put in a longer wavelength of light that blocks off the rest. So that being said, so broadband filters are like RGB filters for mono.
Correct.
The L Pro is a broadband filter, but it's a light suppression filter. So
the moon and sky glow.
Moon and sky glow,
or
the CLS.
The CLS.
All these things out there and I think the IDAS, the D3s, the L2s, all those filters, they're broadband filters. But when you look at them,
how many nanometers do you think a broadband filter usually encompasses? Because
let's go back to the screen before, and I'll tell you. So here you go. So this screen here, and if I could get it up again, here you go. This screen here. So if you have a light pollution filter, right? And actually, we'll go to this picture. Actually, give me a second, and I'll get this picture. There we go. So when you have, why does that do that? When you have the filter, so when you're talking about how many nanometers, okay, so you're looking at RGB, right? Well, here's the light pollution filter, and it's blocking out the sodium, the hydrogen, and all that kind of stuff. But here you go. It's letting in all this from like 430 to 540. It's letting in all that. So that's 210 nanometers there, right? And then it's putting in another 490 to 570, so another 15 there, another 15 there, and then it's letting in 625 to 700. So it's letting in quite a large amount of the light, but it's very specific on what it's blocking.
It's very specific.
So it's blocking, let's say, 430 to 440 here, and another 15 there, another 20 there, another 20. So it's only blocking about 60 nanometers of light from 400 to 700. If that makes any sense. I know Dave will be in chat saying something. I don't know if he is.
We have a question here from Scott. He's doing mostly EAA from a Bortle 5.6 sky using a 294 one-shot color with an 8-inch imaging Newton. He's looking to purchase his new filter. Any recommendations? I like Dave's recommendation of a ultra high contrast filter. That would be a very good filter, broadband filter to consider. Again, like I mentioned, the moon and sky glow, that would be, I would say, a slight step down from a ultra high contrast filter, because I think you can get a bit more nebulosity out of pull out a little bit more nebulosity out of a high contrast filter versus a moon and sky glow filter.
You can, but you just got to remember it's a give and take.
Yeah, it is.
It's a give and take. More contrast, more time you're going to need to get a better picture.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So because you're being more restrictive.
Yes. Another one that I personally own and have used, and I felt I have had very good success with it, has been the Optolong L Pro. I have done imaging with that, with the Orion Nebula, as well as M31, and I feel I've had some good success with both of those, and I believe I was using the 294 with those, and it turned out very, very well. So those would be some of my recommendations if you wanted my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, and those are really good points. There's a lot of good people that are getting, the Sky Techs, the L Pros. All of them are going to be good for outreach. I mean, again, you're not
absolutely.
All you're looking is to cut out the light pollution. That's all you're looking to do with outreach. I know Dave, who runs an outreach system out at Avalon on Long Island, and he constantly is doing stuff with outreach on either solar or nighttime, and he has got a whole bunch of stuff going on over there. It's crazy, but yeah, so yeah, definitely get something like that, and it'll be good. So just buy that, and just remember, if you're doing narrowband, if you're doing color narrowband, grab that NBZ. Grab that NBZ.
Yes.
You do a live stack with the MBZ, you're going to be fine.
Yep.
All right, so let's see where we got here. So there we go, and go to PowerPoint again, and here we go. So a couple of things, like these names keep on popping up again. So like we were talking about. CLS, lights, city light suppression, or LPR. Unless if you live in a border 1 or 2 sky, you're going to need to have some sort of light pollution, filter in your arsenal. It's going to become necessary as you get higher and higher, and if you get into border 9, you may as well just do narrowband, just like I do. But it's definitely going to be something in your collection. Even in Eric's at a Portal 5, you're going to need some sort of thing to contrast the background to what you're actually shooting. So keep an eye out on certain things like that. You could also use an IVR or cut filter. I use the IVR cut filter for luminosity.
Yes.
Because I think it gives me a little bit tighter stars. And I think it's really, really, it tightens things up a little bit for me. So, whereas where I get a little bit more bloat with the regular clear lume filter. And that's something I picked up from Ron and Sean at Masters of Pixinsight and Visible Dark. So that's something that it actually says there, used to reduce limited star bloating, effective seeing, improving sharpness, and it's strongly recommended for planetary imaging. There's also one, I believe it's by Astronomic, called the Planet Pro filter out there that if you're doing planetary, you may want to check it out, because I've seen really good results from that as well.
You're showing the
yeah, I know. I just
okay.
Here you go. Fine. I'll just do that.
I was just saying, do what you want, man. I'm just letting you know.
I was just getting too lazy. This is what Eric was talking about, an ultra high contrast filter. Ideal for viewing or imaging nebula. It has suppression. and it passes primarily H beta and O3, but it's really, really good for blocking out a lot of that light pollution that we were talking about. So UHC filter is really, really good for that. And then you got polarizer and neutral density. Polarizer, a lot of people use for lunar. If you get a nice one, you get one that's a variable, and you can actually, it turns and you can make it change darkness based on the phase of the moon. So the darker you get, the fuller the moon should be. So you're not looking at the same brightness and seeing spots, where you're looking at a full moon. You need to be using a solar filter to look at this. Did I write that can be used with solar? I wouldn't use it with solar. Don't use it with solar. I don't know what that's talking about.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what that. Did I write this? Oh my god, I must.
You wrote that. Hey, you wrote. This is your presentation.
I
bro.
must have been drinking. I should have proofread this. I don't know. Let's go to the next slide. Planetary imaging filters. These filters, this is like the Planet. Actually, there's the Planet Pro right there at the bottom. Really, really cool imaging filter. I don't do a lot of planetary. I don't have the patience for it. But if you're so inclined into doing planetary, you may find the benefit of using the Planet Pro from Astronomic. If you want one, I think I have one. I have 1 1/4 one in my closet of death. You could have it if you want it. Just give me like $7 and it's yours. So there you go. Color filters, monochrome camera users. Here you go. RGB, and then if you got the IR cut for your luminance or a luminance filter, whichever you decide to use. And if you do a monochrome, you may as well have an HA in there too.
Absolutely.
If you're not, get that HA data, man, because it makes those galaxies pop, makes them pop. So definitely get that. And you know what? If you go in the whole Monty, don't get a 5 filter wheel, get a 7.
Get a 7 or an 8.
Or an 8. If the 8, I mean, it's becoming few and far between. I think S-Big is one of the few that has the 8. A lot of them are 7 2-inch. Then you get your IR cart, your RGB, and your 3 narrowbands. So your S2O3 and HA. So. And then we go to the narrowband. So let's talk about those broadband filters a little bit. We'll go. Oh, Pete's here. Pete's here.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Hold on. Let me get
Hey.
There we go.
Oh,
Jesse
glad to be here.
There you go, Jesse. How you doing, Jesse? This is what happens when people pop up I don't know what time they're coming in. So we'll change that real quick to Pete. And we'll go Jesse, and then we'll go Pete, and now Pete has now magically changed from Jesse to Pete. There you go. So
and we have no face.
I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. There you go.
It's Friday. Gotta love it, guys. It's Friday.
It's off the rails Friday. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
How's it going, Pete?
It's Friday before the big game, because I don't want us getting busted for trademarking, or talking about giving copyrighted words and getting busted by the NFL, So I have to call it the big game.
So off the rails segment yet again. So I'm at a McDonald's conference online, right? And apparently, remember those celebrity meals. I mean, Travis Scott had one, and Saw Wheaty or whatever the hell her name is, and what they all have one. The biggest one was
they all have.
So they're doing another one.
Rihanna.
So I don't know. It's not Rihanna. It's. I think it's what's her name? The other
Beyonce.
What? No. They're not that big. She's big, but I forget who she is. There's somebody else, an outcast or outlaw or something. I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know. It's way beyond me. If it's made after like 1998, I don't know what music it is. So it doesn't matter. But whatever the case may be, they were like, I can't. You want to know who it is? Oh, we can't tell you because it's going to be on the Super Bowl. So you're gonna find out on the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, I go on Twitter. It's leaked all over Twitter who it's gonna be. I'm like, and everyone's like, yeah, it's gonna. Oh, Cardi B, I think.
Cardi B.
Cardi B, and does she have a boyfriend or something? I don't know.
Yeah, she does.
Some sort of duo with Cardi B.
Yeah.
And it's all over Twitter, but they're like thinking they're keeping this big secret. But and everybody's in the chat of the McDonald's like it's Cardi B, it's Cardi
B. Everybody, it's like this is public knowledge. What the hell?
Well, that's what we do. But anyway, welcome, Pete. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
Just getting back from Jackson doing a startup on CDK 14, but we got it up and running, and he's going to be imaging tonight, so we're pretty good. But Dan, if you're going back to the presentation, I don't want to interrupt or anything. You're right in the middle of it.
I'm doing it a little differently. I'm talking a little bit. And we're discussing. So
we're discussing and we're dropping, a little bit of knowledge here and there, and people have questions, so we field a few questions here and there. And Sean's here.
I have a question to ask Eric. Eric, when is that Christmas tree coming down?
June. We told you June.
I think it's going to be up.
Eric, I expect a video of you taking that down.
When Josh gets here,
and then it'll be you and Josh and the rest of the family taking it down. And there's got to be one scene in there where a tear just rolls out of the corner of your eye. And of course, it's tears of joy for your son being home.
Yes,
absolutely.
So, yeah, I know I'm one of those sentimental dads. So
I'm driving back from Jackson, and I've got the radio on.
Jackson, where? California?
It's Jackson, California. It's just down Highway 49. There's Sutter Creek and Jackson. It's right on the foothills. But anyway, I'm listening to the news.
Jackson Hole.
No, he's not in Wyoming. No.
They shot down another spy satellite or another satellite or whatever it is.
Yep.
Another balloon, huh? They popped another balloon?
They didn't say it was a balloon. They just said it was an object.
Yeah, it was an object coming across the sky the size of a car.
Yeah.
I don't know. The world's going to crap. Anyway. But
yeah, it's funny.
So we're talking about filters tonight, and we spoke a little bit about IR cuts, and we're getting into RGB broadband filters for
we just finished those up. We're actually moving into narrowband.
We're moving into narrowband, and what narrowband does for people like myself that are in high border areas where you can kind of you can still image. You can still do RGB in Bortle 8, Bortle 9. It's difficult. It's a lot of short subs, but you could do it. It won't be a superstar image because you still got to get a lot of subs to get that signal. You got to get a lot of subs to swamp that read noise, and it's really, really difficult to do. And because you're taking short subs, the noise is there and all that kind of stuff is there, so it makes it a challenge. But narrowband can be a cure for the common Bortle headache. So let's take a look at narrowband a little bit. So here we go. So narrowband filters, they only capture a small part of the color spectrum, and it's mostly, some collect H beta, but it's primarily H alpha, O3, and S2, which is oxygen and sulfur. So narrowband filters also reduce star blooming, so it gets a little tight, unless if you have crappy coatings, where we'll talk about where you see halos and stuff like that. Used in deep sky imaging of emission planetary nebula, like the Veil, which is a supernova remnant. Couple other things out. A lot of other the North American, the Eagle M16. A whole bunch of stuff. A
lot of your Sharpless catalog.
All the Sharpless catalog.
Yeah, all the Sharpless. Your that H2 region. So heck, even M42. you can definitely take advantage of the narrow band in there, or Bernard 33. So
yeah,
any of
you
those
can go on the list. A lot of things out there do have some sort of hydrogen emission in it.
Yes.
And that's why a lot of people, when they take their galaxy images, they go back and grab some HA data to get those nice purple knots of hydrogen regions and H2 regions in there that just sit there and literally pop at you, those little purple dots. It's really nice. But the one thing it does take longer exposure times usually, so you're gonna need to take a lot more data, because the wavelength of light in your narrowband is so restrictive of only letting a certain a nanometer of light through from H alpha, O3, and S2, or even H beta, that it blocks everything out. So everything else is kind of black.
Yep.
You need to gather a lot more photons in order to start getting the data in there. And let's see, where's we'll do that again. There we go. So sulfur 2, here you go, sulfur. 672.4 nanometers. It's used for the red channel in the Hubble palette, so SHO is the Hubble palette. So sulfur, hydrogen alpha, and oxygen. It's usually weaker than the other two, hydrogen and oxygen, but it does, man, I really messed this up. Wow. I would not use sulfur during a full moon. I would only use hydrogen alpha. I must have done this like 10 years ago when I didn't know anything. But I wouldn't be using sulfur during a full moon. Narrowband, if I had a large moon, I would only do H alpha. H alpha, 656.3. Most dominant, usually, of all the emission lines, created by atomic hydrogen. Part of the red spectrum and used as, believe it or not, it's red color in the HOO palette, but in the SHO, so it's RG. So hydrogen is used in the green part of the Hubble palette, and can be used. You could actually do, depending on when your object is. If you're I would say if you're 45 degrees away from the moon, you could probably do all three, but it's got to be a long separation for the other two. Hydrogen alpha, you'll be able to use anytime. O3 at 500.7 nanometers. Again, SHO. So we use that in the B channel in the Hubble palette, as blue and green in the HOO palette. A really dominant line in planetary nebula, and new moon phase only for oxygen. I wouldn't use it even at low. And then the hydrogen beta. There is an HAO-HB method of, I don't even know what palette that is, but there is one. You could use it. It is at the low part of the spectrum, so you can use this in conjunction with H alpha. But you could do that. And I've never done this palette. I think it would be kind of interesting to do. So any questions so far regarding the first couple sets of narrowband? So
Tim's asking, can you elaborate more on the false color images?
Yeah, so actually I'll pull one up really quick. So if you see stuff like, and I'll pull it up for you.
And I've got something that I can even share as well if you don't have anything immediately.
I'm just going to look up Veil Nebula and do an image. And here we go. So I'll make this. All right. So here you go. Here's a picture of the Veil Nebula. And this is going to be an HOO image, and this is a dual band image where you're using hydrogen and oxygen. You're using oxygen in the green and the blue, and H in the red. And this is what all of the false color kind of images look like. It's got that kind of blue red kind of image, a bicolor kind of image. There are other false color images in there because what you're really doing is you're taking an image of the chemical composition of that nebula. Okay. So it's not technically really what you're going to see visually. You can't see what oxygen 3 looks like, but the filter can. You assign it to a color. That's why it's called false color.
Yes.
So you're assigning all the chemicals, just like the Hubble palette, SHO as opposed to RGB.
Correct.
And that's why it's considered false color, or HOO, or HOH, or, you know.
Because if you take a look at the visual spectrum, right? You take a look at the visual light spectrum. So imagine it, you're looking at a rainbow. That's the visual light spectrum, the colors of the rainbow. And almost every element that we're talking about, most elements, they have a certain, the gases fall, the light, it falls under a certain spectrum of light, those gases, such as H alpha. It's very close to red, but also you can also be used for blue. It can also be used for blue and green. But sulfur too,
you can actually
you can use it for anything. But if you're using it,
may not look good.
It may not look good. But what we do most commonly is most people we commonly use what's called the Hubble palette, which is sulfur for red, hydrogen alpha for blue, oxygen 3 for green. And if you take a look at, if we bring up the visual spectrum, I know you have a video, or not a video, but one of your slides has that. And it falls under, these elements fall under particular nanometer under that visual spectrum. So we usually assign it that color it's closest to under the visual spectrum. If that helps explain it a little bit more. So it is a false color, but we're trying to get it as close to what we believe it would be if it falls under that visual light spectrum.
The term's called tone mapping, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Basically tone mapping, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Because the O3 is kind of like an aqua teal.
Yep.
H beta at 486 is pretty close to 500.7, which is O3. So it's going to be that aqua teal color. And then the HAS2 is close to the red. And then, as you said, you've got nitrogen, which is a deep red, and that's very close to HA. So you've got all these other ancillary filters, but the predominant ones are definitely the HAO3S2 for narrowband, for the pretty pictures.
Exactly.
For the pretty pictures.
And
exactly.
let me tell you something. And you know what? I'm going to justify narrowband because that's really the only thing I could do.
Yep.
I would argue the fact that narrowband is more accurate than RGB imaging. Now, scientifically accurate, I should say. Scientifically accurate.
Yep. Because as you said, Dan, it's so true that, we talk about H2 regions, right? That's basically hydrogen alpha.
Yep.
And at 656.3 nanometers, that definitely should be red in color. So you're right. Scientifically, that should be what the color that's being basically radiated right at that point, because it is definitely an emulsion nebula.
David Schaefer, neon equals green. So I like my green. Leave my green alone. But
yeah, so Tim said, it's not totally fake. It's not totally fake. It's not totally false. So,
and I'll show you something else real quick if I could just grab my desktop. Oh, no, it's not on my desktop. And let's see, I haven't taken really good pictures in a while, so of course it's going to be a picture that everybody's seen already, but I'm going to show it.
Gideon, so the galaxy is filled with poisonous gas. If hydrogen
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hydrogen cyanide.
Don't breathe in space,
cyanide.
okay?
Yes, absolutely.
So again, here's an image, and again, this is going to be an image of the North American nebula that I took, and this is a narrowband image. Okay, and remember we were talking about those halos, crappy coatings, right?
There it is.
There it is, right here. And this is done with, and I can't wait to do this again because I don't like the Cygnus wall. I think it's too fuzzy. I want to get a little bit more detail. But the halo right here, and if I could zoom in a little bit, I could show you a little bit more. And you see the halo on this bright star right here. You see how it kind of glows out a little. And things like Alnitak on the Horsehead, same thing.
Yep.
This is done with a 7 nanometer optolong filter. Okay, but the other stars look great. I mean, the bright stars are great. The detail over here is nice. But I think I could definitely do a little bit more with the wall. I want to do one with the wall, but whatever the case may be. But that's what a narrowband kind of thing will do for you.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
do you still have that image of the elephant trunk? Remember about several months ago,
Oh,
we got that image,
I'd have to the purple one.
the purple one, because that can.
I'd have to change. I'd have to look for it though.
Yeah, okay. Because once again, that would give Tim an idea that you, being the artist, you can really do whatever color you want. Because
Absolutely.
scientifically, you're right. Scientifically, it should be these particular nanometer wavelengths. But you're the artist now, so you can basically put it in tone mapping however you want to tone it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll go take a look for it real quick. I know I have it in the Google Drive.
I mean, heck, I've seen, who was it? Galactic Hunter.
Yep.
He redid his Horsehead Nebula, totally reversed of the norm, and toned it out pretty much all blue, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks crazy good.
And do you remember, was it a couple of weeks ago when I said, hey, take a look at Eric Cole's The Pillars of Creation? And remember that one was all
exactly.
that was
Perfect.
blue,
Another
yeah.
example. Now he toned it out all blue, and it looks freaky. It's so amazing, but it looks almost horror like horror show like, but it's beautiful. It's crazy good.
It's an old one. Let's see.
So yeah,
I'm looking for it. This isn't the one that we were looking at, but it's pretty much the same. And it's not the same, but the other one had a lot more detail in it. But I'll show it to you because I don't see the purple one. I believe that was a Mark Ellis picture, if I remember right. I see the red one because he redid it again. He did it in red. Is this it? Really weird pictures popping up when I put elephant.
Let's see. I'm checking here because there's one I wanted to share with everyone, so don't want to have dead noise, stuff all quiet.
Yeah. I got the red
here.
one. Let's see. Yeah, I got the red one here, but this is the red one. This is
where's Scott been? Oh, how do you find your public Discord server? Hey, do you want to put up the link in the
sure
in the chat
I
there,
believe
Dan?
it's in the it's in the description on the bottom.
Okay, so if you open up the description on the bottom, there you go.
It's the second paragraph.
Yep. There it is. There it is, Tim.
There we go.
Scott's been here. I mean, Scott was here.
Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, he was here on Wednesday.
Until he passed out. And then
I mean, he's been working. He's a hardworking guy.
Yeah, he is. He'll be in and out. He's got a lot of work to do. He's trying to get his business running down in Florida. So he'll be on when he can. So that's some narrowband filters for you. What else we got here as far as the PowerPoint is concerned? There's a lot to this.
Hey, Dan, if I can just chime in before we go on.
Always.
But what we do is when you look at the transmission curves on these narrowband filters, everybody kind of looks at, okay, what is the peak? What is the percentage of that particular wavelength of light that it allows to come through? And we always see that it's usually above 90. But the key really is that these filters are known as interference filters, and that they only allow those specific wavelengths of light to pass through. So besides looking at what the percentage of the transmission is coming through, also look at the bottom of the curve and find out what nanometer wavelengths that are not being passed through the filter, because that's really important as well. And that alone will differentiate between like the really good filters and just the off the shelf China made filters.
Yeah, I'll show you. This is one of the images that that we looking at before. So if you want to talk about it, give them a visual as well.
Yeah. So once again, you can see you've got the red, like on the left, you've got the red curves. So that's going to correspond to the HA. The green looks like it's going to be mercury, right? But that's HG.
Yep.
And then you can see where H beta O3 is that aqua teal color.
Yep.
So the key once again is you can see at the very bottom here, if you look at the left-hand side, we're starting off at 400 nanometers. And you can see if you go up, it's allowing a 90% transmission at around about 420, 25, let's say about 420, right?
Right.
That means that at the 420 nanometer wavelength, you're going to get 90% of that transmission. Then it starts to drop off at around about maybe 440. So between 440 and almost like or 430 to 440, you're not going to get anything passed through.
That's your hydrogen that it's blocking.
Yep. And then as soon as you hit like 450, now you're up at around about 95%. And you can see now it's going to allow from about 450 all the way over to about what, 530?
Something like that. 530, 540.
And so between 540 and 550, it's not going to really allow too much of that nanometer wavelength to pass through. So as I said, look at the peak curves, but at the same time, look at the troughs, because that's really important, because you'll see a major difference with manufacturers when they actually come up with these transmission bandpass curves.
And each filter out there usually has a graph just like this, where it'll show you what it lets through and what it's blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So whether you're using the NBZ, whether you're using just a red filter, whether you're just using a tri-band, quad band, whatever, you should take a look at these curves to make sure that you're getting what you want, because they're coming out now with filters that just let out, that just let in O3 and S2 or HA and S2, so there are a couple of different things that are coming out and that are in the works. It's going to be pretty interesting. And that's pretty much it as far as filters are concerned. I mean, I would go a little bit into solar filters, but again, solar filters, really there's a couple different ones. You can get the glass ones or the mylar ones, and you can sit there and kind of use those and put them over your scope to block out a lot of the energy of the sun, so you're able to look at it. Or you could go out and you can get an HA scope, like a Lunt or a Daystar or whatever, or get a Quark for your current telescope, and you could use that to get better angstroms in order to see more details, like the filaments and the
you'll if you're going to use a Daystar, SFYI, if you're going to use a Daystar with a Schmidt-Cassegrain, anything with long focal length, you're going to need some sort of IR filter on top.
Energy,
Sorry?
no, energy,
Energy reduction.
ER, yeah,
ERF.
yeah, ERF. Thank you, ERF. Yeah. So just keep. So for those who have Schmidt Cassegrains like me, and really want to use,
and you still want to use your eyes after the fact.
Yep, exactly. And you want to use your scope after the fact. You know, that's the main thing.
I think your eyes
that's
are
one
more,
of the big things.
I don't know. I think your eyes are more important.
Eyes are more important. But eyes are more important. But
they don't cost as much. But I mean,
you don't want that sucker. You don't want that thing to be melting from the inside.
Yeah.
So
what's that?
You
smell?
want to have an ERF as well as the dace. The cork. You want to have them both. So, and at that point, sometimes you start questioning the money, the total cost. You're like, maybe it'll be maybe a little bit smarter if I just went out and bought, like, say, a Coronado PST, or something like that.
Yeah, start with that.
Or instead of utilizing the Schmidt Cassegrain.
Absolutely. And I mean, there are a lot of other filters out there that we didn't even touch on.
There are.
The STC duos, so many different filters out there. But
scientific filters. I mean, the scientific filters.
UBVRI filters, all those photometry. I mean, there's a lot of different scientific filters that we haven't even touched on.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Just Tim, that's normal. Yeah, Tim, it's normal for you. This is your first meridian flip, so congrats. Yes, you will be. It'll be an opposite orientation. Okay, but when you do your stacking, all right, when you do your stacking and the stacking software will do what we call like a star alignment, and it will bring everything in line, and you will be fine.
Yeah, because
so it'll register.
It doesn't register on the orientation of the frame. It registers on the stars.
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. It'll all be taken care of.
Dan, we've mentioned this in the past when we've had Charlie on, but we should make reference. People will say, well, how do I know what target that I'm looking at and what particular filter I should use? We should show people the book and maybe the index at the back of the book that actually talks about what particular filter should be used for that particular celestial target.
Yes.
I got it. Hold on. I got it over here. And which one is it? It's one of these three.
Here it is.
No, I think it's the other book, Eric. That's the primer, but it's the other book, the planner.
It's not the primer? It's not the primer?
It's the planner. I think it's the planner.
Yeah, I think it's
the planner. Yep.
So here's the planner here.
Yep.
And if you look in the back there, it'll...
Yeah.
But Tim, this, if you are just getting started with, and welcome to AstroWorld and welcome to the show. You are new to astro imaging. If you have not purchased this yet, this should be your Bible.
Yep.
If anything else, purchase this book. It's from Charles Bracken, the Deep Sky Imaging Primer. It will explain almost everything you need to get started and on this journey of astro imaging. And it's relatively inexpensive, but it is worth it's worth so much more, and it's worth its weight in gold.
So I was incorrect. Definitely. It was actually the Atlas.
The Atlas. Okay.
The Atlas. So the Atlas in the back has a list of many objects that are in the sky. And in the beginning, I have yet to find a definitive book. I've been looking for a book just like this. It says, hey, you know what? SH2. Okay, you know what? Blah, blah, blah. SH2112. Okay, strong in this and that. Don't bother with this. And this is the closest thing that I have found as far as what to shoot. Just to give you an example, Seagull Nebula. It tells you it's an emission nebula, when the ideal date to shoot it, what the RA in the deck is. Comments: H alpha S2 and O3 make for a great map color image. Done. Okay. For example, another one. Let's see. Where is it?
While you're looking at that, Tim, yeah, Beatrice is absolutely correct. The Pleiades is considered, that is an open star cluster. That is a broadband target. The L extreme that you have, that is what we call a narrow band filter. That is a dual or multi-narrow band one-shot color filter. That is good for emission nebulae. It is not to be used with open star clusters because open star clusters are considered RGB or broadband targets, or perhaps even bright nebula, dark nebula. Narrowband is used for emission nebulas like H2 regions, such as the Sharpless catalog. You can definitely use it on M42 because that is a emission. You know, it is both a bright and an emission nebula, and there's a lot of hydrogen in there. So you definitely want to. This is why it's a perfect. You know, you're joining us. We're talking about these filters. The L extreme is a narrow band filter. So just remember that you want a light suppression or ultra high contrast or just a simple UV IR cut filter for targets such as M45, you know, the Pleiades. So,
yep. And just so you know, like just what Pete said in the back of the book, they really go very well into the catalogs. Barnard's catalog, the Able catalog, Hickson catalog, the Gum catalog, the IC catalog, the NGC I can go on and on. Sharpless catalog is in here. I have not seen something that does something well with the LDN yet, but it does have LBN in here. You know, the LDN catalog I don't see in here. There's one or two items in here. There's LDN 93, 16, 15, 16, 16, and that's it. And then it goes into Messier. But
Josh, what shouldn't I be using the NBZ for if I have an NBZ versus a Moon and Sky Glow? When should I consider swapping filters when doing one-shot color? I am actually using the NBZ right now. You want to use that, again, that is a narrowband filter. You want to use that on emission nebula where you have heavy hydrogen alpha and oxygen 3, such as, you know, like the Veil Nebula. What I'm going for right now, Abell 85. You will switch, then you can then switch over and use, say, the Moon and Sky Glow or a broadband filter for getting your, or even an IR cut, a UV IR cut filter for getting the natural color of the stars. You want to get your star colors, things like that, because if you don't, then you're doing what, you know, we've been talking about. You are using what we call, you know, like the false color, or you're targeting a specific type of color towards a star, anything like that. So that's when you would swap them out. If you're imaging anything in, you know, a very light polluted area, or if you're doing things in the later quarters towards the full moon, and, you know, things like that. So you want to use the NBZ. You don't want to use the UV IR cut or any broadband filters, especially during the full moon. Everything gets washed out. So that's when you want to use that stuff.
and do yourself a favor, and something a lot of beginner people may fall into this little mistake. Don't stack your filters. And what I mean by that is,
don't put them on top of one another.
No, not even that. What I actually don't do that. Don't screw them into each other. But that's not what I was actually talking about. I'm hoping that people know not to do that. Maybe I shouldn't assume that.
On top of one another.
But what I mean by that is, if you're doing a monochrome camera, right? I've seen a lot of people try and do, let's say, the red color, and still continue to put their light pollution in there as well. So they're shooting light pollution through the R filter into the camera. Here's the thing with that. If you're shooting monochrome, you're getting some inherent benefit of light pollution because you're only allowing the red spectrum in at that point. You're letting 1/3 of the light pollution that you're getting in. So number one, if you're doing that, you're just going to dim the image, number one. That's the first thing. Number two, you could enter into some bad either vignetting or optical issues when you're sitting there trying to stack these filters like that. Don't do that. If you're doing one-shot color, throw in your light pollution, throw in your NBZ, one or the other. Again, you don't stack them. You're already getting light pollution with the NBZ, so don't worry about it. If you just do a one-shot color, throw in your L Pro, throw in your D3, throw in your CLS, whatever it is, and you're off to the races. But when you're doing monochrome, don't sit there and do light pollution plus a color filter. It makes no sense, in my opinion.
Hey Dan, post the atlas if you don't mind, so people can see. Because I really think that that's a book that, we always get questions. What should I shoot tonight? What should I shoot next week? And believe me, this book is going to be your planner. And we've had Charlie on many times. And you know what? I think it's time to get Charlie on again after Neef.
Yeah,
but he likes it. Yeah, but really, any of his books will definitely become your Bible, as Eric said. He's a phenomenal author, and you won't be disappointed spending the money. Believe me, it'll probably be the best investment you'll make getting into this hobby because you'll always have reference back to it.
Yeah. This book is so good. I got both editions. So if don't get this one. That's last year. This is the one you want. The one with the blue nebula on the front. This is the one you want. That's second edition. That's the one you want. And
you can even email Charlie at Deep Sky Primer.
DeepSkyPrimer.com. Yep.
Yes, you can even email him, and for $20, you can send him your longitude and latitude, your GPS coordinates, and he can make a custom planner for the year for you. I have one for this year right now that I use. I think it's actually going to be good for 2 years. And then, in a couple more years, I will contact him again and I'll get an updated one. But there were some questions or anything. I want to share my screen here real quick regarding filters in the NBZ. And someone was also mentioning, like, Tim, you're using a 533 one-shot color. Pete's going to love this because, this is what I've been working on for a bit. So let me share my screen here. Go here.
Oh, Eric. Eric's getting it.
And I'm getting it. So this is Abell 85. They call it the Onion Nebula or the Pop Balloon Nebula, whatever you want. I'm using the RASA 8. So this is a very high speed f2 telescope, and I'm using the NBZ filter. I'm still using it. I'm running with still imaging this right now as we speak, but I'm doing longer exposures. This is a culmination of like maybe 160 300-second images stacked together. So right now I'm going to do about 600 second, and I may do it again on Sunday.
There you
Do
go.
another
That should be
6,
enough.
and that should be more than enough.
Yep.
Yeah. Then this may actually this 60 that I'm doing tonight may be enough. Then on Sunday, looking at the moon and everything and where the moon is, I should be okay to go ahead and use my broadband filter so I can get my RGB stars.
Nice.
So this is a H2 rich environment. This is straight emission nebula. And if I zoom in here, I'll work on the stretching and everything a bit more. I'll move it into Pixinsight to do a lot of this. You'll see a little blue here that's got quite a bit, it's got a little bit of oxygen in here. You see even here on the sides.
Yep.
But this is a dual band, narrow band filter. And this is, the NBZ is at 10 nanometers, I believe. So it filters out everything. It is an interference filter. It blocks everything out except 10 nanometers of hydrogen alpha and O3 and oxygen 3. So, which is why you also, when you see the stars here, that they're basically white. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, you'll get the star color back when you do that.
Yeah, when I do my broadband.
Dan, can you pull up those transmission band curves again? Because we should talk about what is meant by 3 nanometers, 5 nanometers, 10 nanometers, because people will kind of be a little concerned about, I don't understand what that means. So if you can bring up one of those transmission curves, what we'll do is we'll focus on the HA and we'll define it there.
Bring that back, and there we go.
So while you bring that up, if we look at, say, hydrogen alpha is at 656.3. So when we talk about a 3 nanometer, that's talking about the peak. The peak will be right there at the point. And when we talk about a 3 nanometers, we're talking about through 1.5 to the right of that peak and 1.5 nanometers to the left of that peak. So we know that the center line is going to be 656.7 nanometers. So that's going to be a very shallow curve. So why are 3 nanometers more expensive? Well, the reason being is that you're going to get better color contrast with a 3 nanometer filter. The lower the numerical value, the better the color contrast you're going to get. Consequently, the higher the cost of that particular filter. When we look at, say, a 5 nanometer center transpass, we're looking now at 656.3 being the center line for HA. We're looking at 2.5 nanometers to the right and then 2.5 to the left. So we've got a little bit wider now of a peak. And then if we look at the NBZ, which is 10, that tells us that we've got 5 nanometers to the right side of that and then 5 meters. So why would I want to consider a wider transmission bandpass? If you got a very fast vocal ratio scope, and we're talking like an f2, 2.2, 2.8, or an f3.5,
like
you need to have, you need to have a wider transmission band pass. Otherwise, you're going to get, as Dan showed you, prominent blue halos around the prominent stars, like Alnitak or whatever. So you need to consider then, if you've got a very fast vocal ratio scope, then you want to go with a wider transmission curve. And Dylan and I were talking about that today with his particular fast vocal ratio scope, that he needs to look at something in that 5 to 8 nanometer bandpass. So that's the reason why you've got 3 nanometers, 5 nanometers, 8 nanometers, and 10 nanometers.
Yeah, those at that focal length, those up along like 6.57 would be perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Josh is asking, so how do you combine NBZ and moon and sky glow data? It's quite, it's kind of simple in a way. What
Just
you'll
pixel
do
math it.
is you can pixel math it. You can simply remove the stars out of your narrowband or NBZ image, and then pixel math and add the moon and sky glow or your RGB data onto that NBZ image. And it basically, because everything's going to get registered together, and so everything's going to be aligned pretty much, together. And then you just go ahead and separate things out.
Yeah,
and
Sean Nielsen made a really great video.
He sure did, yeah.
With it, and I'm gonna put a link to his video in there because I know exactly where it is because I use it quite a bit. Even when I'm doing though I know how to do it, I just put it in the background and just make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Carol, not necessary. I don't believe it's necessary for you to. You can. It won't be a benefit, I would think, because having that UVIR already built it's already on the window of the 2600. Yeah. You won't really see much of a benefit.
Yeah, I don't think
you'll be fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Dan.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm used to it, man. Don't worry. but and you know what? And I got to bring this up because I know we were talking about targets before. What's the best software to remove the stars? Well, the channel favorite is now Star Exterminator by Russell Croman. And if you're one of the lucky people that have a NVIDIA chipset, you can take advantage of the CUDA acceleration in that, originally put out there by Dark Archon, the steps to do it. And you're able to do that and speed up. I mean, I've seen some people do StarNet or Star Exterminator, 13 seconds, done. As opposed to a non-NVIDIA chipset of 3-5 minutes. So, if you have the NVIDIA chip, figure out, and there are certain steps that you need to do, certain programs that you need to put together that take advantage of that. But what you really want to look at, if you're really bored and you want a target and you want a list of targets to do, grab this. And this is by Ruben Kier. This is the 100 best astrophotography targets for mid-northern latitudes, and it goes by date. So it goes for the year on what it is. Now it's not only narrowband, it's not only broadband, it's a mixture of both, and it tells you what he did, what image he had, how long did he do it for, and what scope he used. So I actually had the privilege of meeting Ruben back about 15 years ago when he was just coming out with this book. And it was interesting. He did a talk for my astronomy group at a star party, and it turned out to be the worst hailstorm ever. And he was doing the talk in a overhang with a metal roof. So all you heard was the hail coming down. You couldn't hear a damn thing. And he was like, "Oh yeah, just come and get my book. I'll give it to you for half price." So I got his book.
Dan, we should mention as well is that the two sets of filters, the narrowband and the broadband, people will say, well, when should I use luminance RGB? And I always say, keep that for a dark sky site.
Yep.
Narrowband, definitely you can shoot at a dark sky site, or once again, in your case, Dan, Eric, in a light polluted area. The key, once again, for all these things with filters is that the best filter of all is a dark sky site, bar none, a gas filter. I call it the gas filter. If you can definitely, and I said a lot of people on the Eastern Seaboard, you can't go to a dark sky site within half an hour. You've got to travel over hell's half acre. But there really is no substitute for a dark sky site. I mean, we all know the advantages of dark sky. So you're right. Filters will just kind of add to the contrast, will kind of allow you to do the Hubble palette for the narrowband if you'd like. But, it's really getting to like these dark sky sites. And so it'll be interesting. Case in point, we've got Richard Wright. When's Richard doing his presentation at the Winter Star Party?
Wednesday.
He's going to be down there. Yeah,
I think it's Wednesday.
he's going to be down in the Keys. The Keys now are going to be dark skies, and it's going to be amazing to see this presentation that he's going to have. So it should be a lot of fun to watch him.
Yeah, eventually I'll get back to New Mexico, or maybe I'll make it over to Utah. Another cool site I think would be interesting to take to do some imaging, maybe even do Wyoming. Go to cowboy country. Do something there.
Just don't do it in winter time.
Yep.
Oh God, no. No.
I'm gonna be all over.
It's gonna be like July or August, because anything other than July or August is winter time.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be all over the continent this year. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to Nebraska. Yeah. I'm going to Canada. I'm going to Pennsylvania. I'll probably go to Staunton River in Virginia. So I'm going all over.
Have you signed up for your Sky Miles to make sure you're racking up your miles?
Yeah.
Or are you driving?
If they would only let me take my telescope on a plane, I would do that. But no, I'm freaking driving. So
unless you have take the Red Cat.
I don't want to take. If I'm going to Nebraska, I'm not taking a Red Cat. I'm sorry.
Take the Red Cat. Take the Red Cat and your new Knicks. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'll do? I'll go with the entire like AstroWorld flag, and I'll have all this pomp and circumstance with a freaking Red Cat on an EQ6R. That's gonna look awesome,
dude. No. I'm sorry.
Dan, you're heading out to Nebraska, right? You're driving out. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You're close enough to California and Northern Cal. Why don't you just kind of come over? I mean, you got to go through Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and then bingo, you're here where I'm at. You can spend a week here with me.
That's another like 12-hour drive.
Four big states. Four huge states.
New Jersey to Nebraska, and he's complaining about an additional 12-hour drive. 4 days.
No. Not only are they 4 huge states.
Hey, listen, after doing that drive, I'm not going to want to drive anymore. I'm telling you. If you want to meet me in Nebraska Star Party, you should be meeting me in Nebraska Star Party. That's what you should do.
Oh, jeez. Yes, Gideon, I know. Oh my Lord.
Oh well, listen, everybody. It's been
I know.
great.
I owe you, man. I owe you this.
Yeah, you do. You owe Gideon a personal. You owe him a personal video.
I do.
You got to give him a shout out on the video too.
I got to
Thank you, Gideon, for your patience.
Yes, I know it's been like what
2 years. Well, we get a Dan's Drive video. Yeah, and you know what? I am gonna put the Dan rant on when I drove to Staunton River.
Hold it. You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember Kent Kesey and the Merry Pranksters when they came from Oregon to Washington? This is what Dan's going to do. Dan's not going to drive. He's going to get the yellow bus, and it's going to be the Merry Pranksters on the bus going to Nebraska. It'll be the electric Kool-Aid acid test all over again.
Oh, Christ.
I'm done.
Oh man,
you guys are funny.
Oh Lord,
it's gonna be interesting. You never know what's gonna happen on the road. I'm telling you.
Yes, that's right. Marriage, that blessed arrangement, a dweem within a dweem.
When I drove with Charlie Walsh down to Staunton River, I must have dropped a Silverado tank and a half worth of gas down I-95 because we had a hole in the tank the whole time. It was like, I'm going to put the video up. I sent it to you guys, but you got to go see it. I'll put it on the Patreon account. So everybody, I don't know if I might get kicked off if I put it on YouTube.
Gideon, it ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening. Yeah, the 91 will be sold soon. That ain't happening.
Nebraska got the ways of me.
Oh, I can't with you guys.
Oh,
well, we got to do a giveaway before we get out of here. So we should do that.
Let's do a giveaway.
Let's do the giveaway because we're way off the rails already. So
yes, Tim, I do have my Christmas tree in the background. just so you know, because you're new, I'm putting it out there. It will be down by the end of this month. My son is in the Air Force, and he wasn't able to arrive here for Christmas because of the winter storms. So I have decided to hold on to the basement Christmas tree. This is from my basement right now. I've said hold on to the basement Christmas tree, keep that one up with all of his presents right underneath the tree until he comes home, and then he will open his presents, and then right after that, we're taking it sucker down. So just letting you know. Exactly. Since at least it's a White Sox Christmas. You darn right. That's it. You still got what?
The White Sox still a team?
A couple more months.
They still a team?
What?
Oh, sorry.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
The White Sox still a team.
I'm
my
sorry.
Lord.
I just do hockey. I'm a lonely hockey fan.
Yes.
That's why I like Pete on the show, because Pete's the only one that'll talk hockey with me. That's all.
Oh, I tell you. Oh.
All right,
Hey,
ready for the giveaway?
Let's
Hey,
do
but
it.
Dan, your competition picked up Vladimir Tarasenko. Whoa.
Who?
Rangers got Vladimir Tarasenko.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no
They picked him
idea.
up 2 years ago.
Oh.
I tell you, they're making a move, man. This is going to be interesting the next 3 weeks.
Oh God, I'm gonna have a coronary. Anyway, let's get back on this. Here we go. All right, Pete, you're on the cam anyway, so there we go. So
Hold on, I got to get my leaf hat.
oh geez, here we go. All right, so we got a Masters of Pixinsight class here. The next one is going to be masks unmasked, and that's going to be in late March. So I think it's March 26th or 7th. So keep an eye on that. And here we go. Masters of Pixinsight Workshop. Here we go. No way. Sentinel one. All right.
Hey there.
Sentinel, you know the deal. You're on the show all the time, and when you watch it later, when you're awake, you'll find out you won, and I'll send you an email. So, congratulations!
There it is.
Awesome. And we go back. Reapply. There we go. Cool. Awesome.
All right.
That was a Final Jeopardy question. Can somebody give me the question, since a writer writes the answer?
Oh, that was off of Clockwork Orange.
No. It's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, righty. In the milk bar. All righty.
No, yes, I know what you're talking. I'm a fan of the movie, so just, but the Matthew McConaughey, that was his first lines in what movie was it? Dazed and Confused, was it?
I think so.
Dazed and Confused. I think that was his first line ever in a movie was all right. Yeah, Dazed and Confused, Dave Schaefer. Yeah, so.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So next week, Eric, you're going to do your mount talk?
Yes, I'm working on it. I am working on it. So yeah, I should be all done. I'm gonna work on it over maybe tomorrow. I'm not working on it on Sunday, but then I'll work on it a little bit more of the rest of the week.
I can't do an old Malone impression. I can't. I'm not blonde. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yep. at least the moist jokes have kind of went away.
All right. You know what? It has been a great show.
Come on.
It has been an awesome show. We want to thank everybody for hopping on and joining us.
Eric's already jumping the final thoughts before we even.
Oh my Lord.
Tim, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you anything about not buying a harmonic mount. I can't tell you anything about it because I bought one. So there you go. But oh yeah, image of the week. We didn't do image of the week.
Oh yeah,
No, you
hold it. We got to
didn't.
do that.
Hold up.
Image of the week.
We're gonna
Here we
jip.
go.
We're gonna jip out our viewers, dude.
I'm telling
You're
you,
gonna let me.
You viewers got to keep me on a short leash here because I was getting ready to sign off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go. So check it out. So here is the website for any of you newbies, and Pete's still in there. I gotta get Pete out of there, but you know you're pretty enough, Pete. I'll leave you in there. So, so here's the website. Here's the website, and if you want to enter any of our contests or whatever, we have raffles, giveaways. We have some fundraisers going on. Image contests. We do an image of the week and the image of the month. And if you want to enter in the image of the week or the month, well, the month you don't have a choice. Once your image of the week, you're in. But if you want to, you just literally click on the Google Drive link, and we'll open it in a new tab, and it'll put you right in the drive. You just drop it in there with a text of what your image is and some details about the image, and it'll be in on every Monday night, hopefully, or every Tuesday. But our current picture of the week entries are right here. Here we go. We got the Rosette Nebula by Kev Rasso. M81 by, who is this? Bloodstone. The Dragons of Ara. Chris Jensen from Brisbane. Tale of Two Comets by Craig Stocks. We had 83 people vote. Nice job, people. 83 people.
Great job.
That's 2 weeks in a row. Awesome. Thank you,
2 weeks in a
everybody,
row.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Keep it going. Keep it going. All right. So let's go into the admin site and see who won, because I don't even know. I used to watch it every day, and it's kind of like the stop. Watch it every day, you get agita. So okay, so we're in the all polls. There we go. And for some reason, YOP poll came up with a new thing, and it always starts up with the earliest one. So now I got to change this. So week ending February 10th. Here we go. 83 votes here. It says here. I don't know why, but here we go. Results are in, and Bloodstone again. Bloodstone.
Holy cow.
Bloodstone again. Look at that. 4 hours. That's M81 with the Quattro 250. I think Bloodstone's getting his whole job to vote.
I think he is. I think he's got everybody.
I think this is skewed a little bit, Dylan. I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I think he's got everybody.
Well, there you go. So the image of the week is right there. And it is a good picture. It's a nice picture.
It is a nice picture. Don't get me wrong. It's a great picture. Congrats, Dylan. But wow.
But I kind of like the dragons.
And yeah, I voted for me. I voted for the comment.
No, it's a really good M81. Although I told him that, you know, it reminds me of somebody that got punched in the eye with a bloody eye. But love you, Dylan.
Dylan he says he didn't even vote for his own. He voted for the Dragons too.
But you know what? Dylan is very, very humble, man. He thinks all of his images aren't great, so he'll throw them out there. But he really takes some good stuff. So congratulations.
Dude, I know none of my images are great.
Yeah.
My image is all stuff.
Congratulations, Dylan. That was a good one.
Yep. Nice job, man.
Yeah, so real.
Awesome. It's rigged.
It's rigged.
It's rigged.
Hey, Dan, out of the way, what about calendars? How many calendars have we got? Do we need to sell more calendars?
I just got the next shipment in.
You do? Okay.
They're in. So the 3 that were outstanding are going out tomorrow. I believe it was Mark, David, and Raisul. So I have a bunch left still. So I got more left. So anything that doesn't go is going to be giveaways at NEAF. So all right. Final thoughts, everybody. It's 10 after 10.
Great show. I mean, I love the participation. Thank you, Tim, for all your great questions. Welcome to the show, and welcome to the crew. We hope to see you again. A lot more on, see you again on a lot more over the weeks and months and years to come. If you have any questions, still, feel free to shoot them out here, and we'd be more than happy to answer them. But no, again, it's a great show, great work, great topic with the filters and everything. And next week I should be presenting my little presentation, but I didn't mention what it was. What did I?
Mouse. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, did. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about mounts.
Yep.
So not too much, but just a little bit.
Yep. And then after that, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the different types of telescopes after that.
Yeah. So I'll talk about mounts and the different types, of mounts, and a few other, things here and there. So be a little bit of astrophotography 101. So looking forward to it.
And you know what I'll do, Dan, is the week afterwards, I'll work on that presentation for cameras. So I'll film that Friday.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, because Pete's going to talk about the things you should be looking for when you're purchasing a camera, and what these lovely specs like QE and full well and all this kind of stuff. What does it mean? What is pixel pitch? What is all that kind of stuff? So it's important stuff to know, and and especially when you're trying to. People don't do the right thing sometimes when you're just getting into it. They say, I want this camera and I want this scope. That may not work. That may not work out. We'll talk about that. But that being said, everybody, thanks for the wonderful comments online, and it's always a great show. It's always a nice time to kind of hang out twice a week with everybody. And this is, like Eric said, this is our astronomy club. And that's what we do. Pete, you got some?
I was going to say is Dan has really got something special. If it can work out next Wednesday, I'm going to really say we're going to have Richard Wright on, but Richard's going to be at the Winter Star Party down in the Keys. So it'll be great to have Richard on, and if we can get the connection, that'll be fantastic. So as I said, I think Wednesday is going to be something special.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So I don't know how he's gonna do it in the dark sky in the dark, but we'll figure it out. He can't really walk around. He can't. Maybe we might have to do it during the day. I don't know.
Yeah.
But awesome. Thank you, everybody. Everybody have a good night. Don't forget again, next Wednesday, like Pete said, we're gonna be having Richard Wright, hopefully, as long as the stars align and all of that. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We had about 40 people watching again. Everybody have a good night, have a great weekend, and remember, as always, to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you on what day? We'll see you on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Night, yep.
See everybody. Dan, I just ordered my calendar. Send me my calendar.
You can get this one. Hold on. Let me pour my wine over it. So you're gonna just
I don't know what to it, Dan.
I'm gonna put this AstroWorld sticker
a little bit of
right on the
ambiance
front there. There you go. Just gonna stick it right there.
No, Dylan, I paid for shipping too. I paid the $5 for shipping too.
Well, that's good.
No freebies.
I think there's gonna be a difference for you, Eric, but
I have to say one thing before we sign off. This is a shout out to Beatrice. Beatrice, it's 4:15 in Belgium. and she's staying up to watch the show.
God
I
bless
tell
her.
you what, thank
Yeah.
you. Bless you very
And
much.
Beatrice, I don't
Thank you.
think it's the bandwidth. I think it's your eyes that are making the YouTube blurry. And you know, I think that's what it is. It's too late, too early in the morning to be watching this. So all right, everybody. You got the last 5 minutes. Last off the rails. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
See you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.